Hey y'all, so before we get started, I want to show y'all the paper that I'll be using in today's video, which is a sub paper. I've actually never tried their paper before, so I'm excited to try it. I've heard good things about it, and their company actually reached out to me to give it a test, so I'm excited to see how everything turns out, and we'll go from there. And then I also will have a code in the description box if y'all would like to try it out as well, if you like the results once we finish. We're going to use this Stay Sweet Halloween design PNG. And don't mind these lines that are up here. I don't know why it's uploading that way, but it's not going to print out that way. So what we're going to do for the glow-in-the-dark vinyl is we're going to add an offset to it. Most times I don't use the 0.25, it's just too big for my liking. So I always start off by going to 0.15. Personal preference, just to see how thin the line is. I don't like a super thick line, but you don't want one that's super thin either for this one, because then you're going to be sitting there trying to line it up perfectly. But if the vinyl is bigger than the picture, it doesn't have to be exactly centered, but you want it, of course, as close as possible, but not super close. Okay, so we'll leave that there, and I'm gonna leave it at this size. Like I said, you can make it smaller, bigger, up to you, however you like to do it. And then I'm just gonna change the color. You don't have to, but I'm just gonna change it a different color just to give it that glow look. So I'm gonna make 2 of them. So the first one I'm going to do 7 inches. And like I said before, I let the height adjust by itself. I don't do anything with the height. I just change the width. And then we're going to duplicate. Now the other shirt is a different size, so I'm going to make that one 8 inches wide. Okay. So now as you see here, let's go back. You see how this printed cut for the background is showing printed cut. We're going to change that back to basic because we want that to cut out on vinyl, not as a printing cut. And do the same for this one. And the reason it did that is because we're putting the offset on a picture versus just regular text. So make sure you do that, because if you don't, when you go to cut it out, it's going to try to print with the picture. Okay, so we have both. And for these two, since they're small kid shirts, you don't have to worry about the printed cut being too big. You see here, it'll show the the triangle if it was too big to print cut. But if you're doing bigger shirts, adult shirts, or youth size shirts, and the picture is too big, then you can take the PNG and go to Canva or Silhouette or Photoshop, wherever printing studio that you like to use, and you can go and print it there. But just make sure you see what size it is in here, and you want to print it that same size in whatever other software you're using. Okay? So now we're going to go and make it. Then we'll be printing both of these out, and then you don't want to mirror it if you have your Sublimation printer set to where it mirrors from the printer settings. Don't mirror it here, because then you'll double mirror it and it won't mirror. But for your vinyl, of course, you want to mirror that one since we're using HTV. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out and these printed, and then I'll be back to show y'all how to press them to the shirts. Okay, so I have the image printer out, and what we're going to do next is, you could let Cricut cut around it, or you can just cut it yourself. Sublimation, that doesn't have to, if white is left around, it's not going to show up anyway. So just gonna take your scissors, obviously, and you want to cut as close to the image as you can. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get it super close. Easier to center it up on the vinyl. So with this, subbing on glow-in-the-dark vinyl, and if you did subbing on glitter vinyl, you want to try to get an image that's more of a full picture and doesn't have a lot of fine details in it, because then it's going to be harder for you trying to line it up to be on top of that glitter vinyl or glow in the dark, or even when using Easy Subli. Now if you're doing a black shirt, or like a dark color shirt and the ink goes over on the shirt, you're not going to be able to tell it anyway because it's going to wash out. Like I said, you want to get as close as possible. And again, this is personal preference. You can't just tear around the image and call it a day, line it up. But for me, I prefer to do it this way. Maybe y'all can still see. And what I'm noticing too with this paper, we'll see once it presses, but I use the same settings as I use for the other brand paper that I use. But of course, you know, every paper has different settings that works best with your printer and paper. So I may have to do some tweaking as far as the settings go. But like for this particular image, with it being a colorful image, it's not gonna really make a difference anyway if the colors aren't exact. I feel like it'll be cute either way. But if you were doing like, you know, pictures of somebody or something that had like real specific, well, I say real specific, but like if it's only like a couple colors and it's obvious that the colors aren't the same, then of course, you know, you want to get your printer settings right. But for this one, since it's colorful, it's not gonna really matter. And like I said, this is my first time using the paper, so we'll see. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna do it. I'm not gonna worry about cutting all up through there and all that. Not really necessary. So we have our glitter, not glitter, this is glow in the dark vinyl. We have that cut out, and then we have our image. And then you can always like line it up to make sure everything is gonna fit, and also to make sure like your vinyl is placed the proper way and not upside down on your shirt. So you have it like that. And I'm just gonna line it up on the shirt and we're gonna press it. But you're only gonna press it for maybe like 2 seconds. You just want it to be tacky enough to stick to the shirt, because you're gonna press it again with the sublimation image. And you don't want to press it too long because HTV does shrink when you're pressing it. And for this particular one, I'm doing 370 degrees. And once we do the sublimation print, we're gonna do it for about 30 seconds with almost like light to medium, more on the medium side pressure. You don't want to do too much pressure, because then the image will stick to the vinyl. Okay, like I said, we're only gonna do it for like 2 seconds just to get it tacky. Not long at all. Okay, peel that off. Then we're gonna take our image. Like I said, this will be a lot easier since we cut around the picture. And then you're just gonna try to get it as close to being even all the way around as possible. Since we put that bigger gap around it with a bigger offset, you don't have to worry about lining it up super perfect, because you're not gonna be able to tell anyway. So we're just gonna do a couple. I do about 4. You don't want any ghosting. And then we're going to take some parchment paper. And then I also still put the Teflon sheet on top just to protect my shirt as well. So put that there. Then I'm going to adjust my pressure. Like I said, you want to do about medium pressure. And then we're going to let it press for about 30 seconds. Okay. Now, pull it off. You can see the image came throw the came through. So we know that it pressed properly. And then we're gonna just peel the heat tape. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all this too as well. This tape came out super cute. But you can see like right in there how it's like little white lines. That's because the pressure wasn't completely even. So I always do a second press anyway when doing sublimation. So we're just gonna make sure. Oh, y'all can see my mess back there. But we're gonna press it again, and we're just gonna add just a little more pressure. And if you have a pressing pillow, that works. That'll help as well with getting the pressure right in the center. We'll do it just for a couple seconds. You don't want to do too much. And that's it. Super cute. Alright, so next I'm going to show y'all, I'm going to go ahead and press the other one, and then I'll show y'all how it looks in, well, y'all see how it looks this way, and then how it looks for the glow in the dark. So 1 second.